Some of the hottest books on the market are starting to cool off. So go grab your vibe juice because it's time to talk trending comics. What's up, everybody? Back in the lab with another trending comic list and market update. I'm your boy C3. Don't forget to hit that like button, slap that subscribe button, because you know I drop a list like this every week. Starting the list off at number 10, we got a book that was published by Marvel. It was released on June 1st of 2022, and the title of this book is Miles Morales, SpiderMan, issue number 38. Now let's talk about this Torn Clark regular cover. Just a beautiful cover. And the key factor to this book is it is the first appearance of Spider Smasher. Last recorded sale for this book was on February 18th of 2023, where a raw copy sold for $4. This book does have a current trend of 40.13% increase in units that have sold so far. The average sale for CGC 9.8 at the moment is about $28. The average sale for a raw copy will run you roughly about $4. There's been 203 raw copies that have sold, and there's been 19 graded copies that have sold, giving us a total of 222 copies of this book that has changed hands on the secondary market. Now, the highest known sale for CGC 9.8 was back in August 18th of 2022, where a high sale of $70 took place. And keep in mind, fair market value has this book resting at $4 for a raw copy in near mint condition. And you guys know I pride myself in bringing you some of the hottest comic books on the market, showing you what's really hot and what's really dropping. That way there's no confusion of what's going down on the secondary market. Popping off at number 9, we got a book that is published by Marvel. This book was released on June 1st of 1972. And the title of this book is Hero for Hire, issue number 1. I'm a giant Luke Cage fan, so let's talk specs on this book. The key factor to this book is it is the first appearance of Luke Cage. Last recorded sale for this book was back on February 18th of 2023, where raw copy sold for $494. This book does have a current trend in an upward motion at 41.22% increase in units sold. All right, so now there's an 8.0 average sale for $668 at the moment. The average price for a raw copy of this book will run you roughly about $230. There's been 421 raw copies that have sold and 568 graded copies that have sold, giving us a total of 985 copies of this particular book that has changed hands on the secondary market. There was a high sale for this book back in September 8th of 2022, where CGC 9.8 sold for $102,000. Whew, that's a lot of money. But lucky for me, fair market value has this book resting at $230 for a raw copy in very good condition. That's right in my price range. And don't forget, check your local comic book shops before you hit the secondary market, all right? So now let's take a look at number 8 on the list. At number 8, we have a book that is published by Marvel. This book was released on May 1st of 1993. The title of this book is The Web of Spider-Man, issue number 100. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have a classic comic book cover. The key factor to this book is it is the first appearance of the Spider Armor, the original Spider Armor, all right? And this is a direct edition. Last recorded sale for this book was on February 18th, where a raw copy sold for $12. This book is currently trending upward at 41.82%, ladies and gentlemen. The average sale for a CGC 9.8 at the moment is about $83, while you can still grab this book raw for about $10. All right? There's been 939 raw copies that have sold, and there's been 139 graded copies that have sold, giving us a total of 1,078 copies of this book that has changed hands on the secondary market. Now, keep in mind that back in November of 2021, there was a high sale where CGC 9.8 sold for $160. And fair market value does have this book resting at $10 for a raw copy in near mint condition. So if you are in the market for Web of Spider-Man, issue number 100, keep your eye out on this book because it is definitely on the move. And make sure you leave a comment in the comment section. What do you guys think about Web of Spider-Man, issue number 100? Now, this next book is hot on the list. Coming in at number 7, we got a book that is published by Marvel. It was released in November of 2015. And the title of this book is the all-new Wolverine, issue number 1. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is that Bengal regular cover. Just a beautiful cover. Definitely one I want to add to my collection. So let's talk the key factors. The key factor to this book is it is the debut of X-23 as Wolverine in the classic suit. Now, last recorded sale for this book took place on February 17th of 2023, where a raw copy sold for $6. This book is also trending upward, ladies and gentlemen, at a 42.59% increase in units that have sold. Now, the average sale for a CGC 9.8 at the moment is about $71, but you can also secure a raw copy of this book for $22. Now, there has been 529 raw copies that have sold, and there has been 215 graded copies that have sold, giving us a total of 744 copies of this particular book that has changed hands on the secondary market. Now, back in October of 2017, there was a high sale that took place for CGC 9.8, and that book sold for $299. All right? But the beautiful thing is, fair market value does have this book resting at $22 for a raw copy in near mint condition. So if you're in the market for this book, keep your eye on it. On the list at number 6 and gaining momentum, let's talk Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 129. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this book was released back in 1974. It was published by Marvel. And the key factor to this book is, we all know, it's the first appearance of everybody's favorite character, yours and mine's, the Punisher. Yes, check this out. February 15th of 2023 was when the last recorded sale took place on this particular book. A raw copy of this book sold for $710, my friends. This book has a current trend in an upward motion of 43.55%. Now, the average sale for a CGC 8.0 is running roughly about $2,300 at the moment. But you can secure a copy of this book for yourself for the average price of $909. All right? Now, there has been 1,309 copies of this book that have sold, and there has been 1,890 graded copies of this book that have sold, giving us a total of 3,199 copies of this book that has changed hands on the market. Clearly, this book continues to be popular amongst the comic book community. I don't see it dipping anytime soon. It will always maintain its value, and that's why I have it on the list. Back in June of 2022, there was a high sale for CGC 9.8 that took place, and that book went for $43,200, right? But also keep in mind, fair market value has this book resting at $909 for a raw copy of this book in very good condition. So if you are in the market for Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 129, the first appearance of the Punisher, keep your eye out on this book. But make sure you guys stick around to the end, and I'll show you how to add a free comic book to your collection at the end of the show, all right? But pulling up on the list at number 5, we got a book that is published by Marvel, and the title of this book is XMen, issue number 60. Yes, my friends, this book was released in 1969. The key factor to this book, it's the first appearance of Sauron, right? Who is the alter ego of Carl Lycos. And with all this talk about them bringing the Marvel Universe, crossing over everybody into the new Marvel Universe, there's a strong possibility that we could see individuals like this. So the comic book community is going after these sought after comic book issues that nobody's paying attention to. Now, I've got numbers on this book, so pay attention. Last recorded sale for this book was on February 15th of 2023, where a raw copy of this particular book sold for $110. Now, this book does have a current trend in an upward motion of 45.17% increase in units that have sold. There is an average sale for a CGC 9.2 of $504, while you can secure a raw copy of this book for $62. And keep in mind, there has been 384 raw copies that have sold already, but there's also been 99 graded copies that have sold too, giving us a total of 483 copies of this book that has changed hands on the secondary market. Now, back in January of 2022, there was a high sale for CGC 9.8 that sold for $9,600. All right? But fair market value has this book resting at $62 for a raw copy in very good condition. And who's that peeking in my window? At number 4 on the list, we got G.I. Joe, issue number 27. Just a classic book, classic cover, published by Marvel. We already know this book was released in 1984. All right. Now, the key factor to this book is it is part 2 to the Snake Eyes origin story. And I know we got a lot of Snake Eye fans out there. Last recorded sale for this book was on February 11th of 2023, where a raw copy of this book sold for just $20. This book is currently trending upward, ladies and gentlemen, at 45.26% increase in units that have sold. Now, the average sale for a graded copy right now for a CGC 9.8 will run you about $375, while the average sale for a raw copy, you can grab this one for about $11. There's been 130 raw copies that have sold and 11 graded copies that have sold, giving us a total of 141 copies of this book that has changed hands on the secondary market. There was a high sell back in December of 2022 where CGC 9.8 sold for $384. That's a beautiful number, and it's definitely worth taking a stab at. And just keep in mind, if you can't afford that one, fair market value does have this book resting at $11 for a raw copy in very good condition. So even if you want to step it up a notch and spend that $20, maybe spend $40, $50, you can still secure yourself a very nice copy of this book. At number 3 on the list, we've got none other than Star Wars, issue number 2. And this book is continuing to do numbers on the secondary market. It was published by Marvel in 1977, right? And the key factor to this book is it is the reprint of the first Chewbacca, and first Han Solo, and the first non-cover appearance of Obi-Wan Kenobi. The first non-cover appearance. I like that. Last recorded sale for this book was on February 9th of 2023, where a raw copy of this book sold for $10. Now, this book is currently trending upward, my friends, at 98.13%. The average sale for a CGC 9.6 will run you roughly about $62 right now. And there is an average sale for a raw copy of $5. All right. There's been 231 raw copies that have sold, and there's been 8 graded copies that have sold, giving us a grand total of 239 copies of this book that has changed hands on the secondary market. Now, back in December of 2018, which was quite some time ago, there was a high sale for CGC 9.2 that sold for $138. Right? So even right there at that price point, that is great. This is a perfect opportunity to get your hands on one of the fewer key components of that Star Wars franchise. Because as I was speaking with a buddy of mine, that first 9 copies of Star Wars are probably some of the most important issues, right? And always remember this, fair market value has this book resting at $5. So you don't necessarily have to spend $100 and something to get your hands on a copy of this book. You can grab a decent copy of this book for about $20 to $30, all right? A raw copy in very good condition is just as good as a near mint copy. And coming in at number 2, flippers rejoice, collectors rejoice, because with a list like this, you can't miss. The next title I want to talk to you about is The Amazing Adventures, issue number 18. Now, this is a classic book. It's the first appearance of Killraven. It was published by Marvel, and it was released back in 1973. Now, the last recorded sale for this book was on February 18th of 2023, where a raw copy of this book sold for $28. This book is currently trending upward, my friends, at 24.13%, which is significant gains. Slow, but nonetheless steady, right? Now, the average sale for a graded copy of a CGC 9.4 is about $149, and the average sale for a raw copy is about $28 to $30, okay? There has been 434 raw copies that have sold and 30 graded copies that have sold, giving us a total of 464 copies of this book that has changed hands on the secondary market. Now, back in 2020, there was a high sale for CGC 9.6, where this book sold for $648. And even if that may be a little steep for some of us, we can still get our hands on this book because fair market value has it resting at $28 for a raw book in fine condition. All right? So if you are in the market for Amazing Adventures, issue number 18, the first appearance of Killraven, keep your eye out on this book because it is definitely on the move. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the hottest comic book on the secondary market. This book is published by DC. It was released in 2011, and we have to talk about Flashpoint, issue number 1. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, with DC revamping its entire universe, this is something that we are definitely looking forward to. And we got the new Flash movie coming out, which is going to have all the DC characters in there. I'm excited about it. I want you to be excited about it. That's why I'm sharing this information with you. Now, the key factor to this book is it's the first full appearance of Thomas Wayne as Batman. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. And the last recorded sale for this book was on February 18th of 2023, where a raw copy of this book sold for $35. Now, this book is currently trending upward, ladies and gentlemen, with 18.22% increase in units that have sold. Again, not a whole lot, but yet it is hot. This book is starting to move. The comic book community sees something, and I want to make sure that we're all sharing this information. Now, the average sale for a graded CGC 9.8 right now is $104. But you can actually get your hands on a raw copy of this book for $61. There's been 307 raw copies that have sold and 60 graded copies that have sold, giving us a total of 367 copies of this book that has moved on the secondary market. Now, back in 2020, there was a high sale for a CGC 9.8, where this book sold for $500. So if you think about back in 2020 to right now, that's a significant difference. That's a very big price gap. So you can secure this book. You can get this book and add it to your collection for the low price of about $104 to $110. And if you don't want the graded copy, just keep in mind, fair market value has this book listed at $61 for a raw copy in near mint condition. So if you are in the market for Flashpoint, issue number 1, the first appearance of Thomas Wayne as Batman, keep your eye out on that book because it is definitely on the move. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the show. I want to tell you how you can get yourself a free comic book. Leave a comment in the comment section. Make sure it's an encouraging comment. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. And your name will automatically be entered into the drawing to win a free comic book. And every week, I'll let you know what that comic book is and which comic book you won. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for stopping by, checking out the channel. You know what I always say, don't hate, congratulate. Show some love, because that don't cost you nothing. Appreciate. But no matter what you do, ladies and gentlemen, when you see me, it's good vibes only. And always keep it comics. See you guys next video. You know what it is.